your roster. Welcome everybody. Already, Jesus Christ! As soon as we start, all right. I'll get us rolling, and then I'll do my usual thing. I don't know what is going on, man. I don't know what is going on.
No, you're doing your usual thing. You're good.
Yeah,
at least it's early. I'm happy it is early because, like, I honestly don't care about the news that much because I don't draft Alvin Kamara anyway. But I'll digress, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Introductions, guys. I am the side profile that is frozen per usual. I am Jagger May. You can catch me on Twitter at Fantasy Blue Chip, and with me are my host with superior internet, Andrew LeDuc, at Real Mr. Mallard, and he's a host of Divots and Pivots. If you're into golf is like the only thing on. So watch Andrew's show. I don't know, like you should watch.
Scottish Open is this week. We're going across the pond, gents. So get ready.
Those were words. Bass is with us at Chuck Bass FF. You could catch him on his podcast, This Guy Sucks. And then he's here on time this week because, like we said, Jesus is busy, guys. He can't always be here, but he blessed us this week, and he's here to save our lineups. It's Justin Herrera. He's at Sim Tex-Mex 93. We have, I guess, one topic we could talk about because this is I was going to kind of lump this all in one. I'm going to get you guys rolling. I'm going to do my usual restart my entire rig. Alvin Kamara takes a plea deal. Basically what that means is he said that, hey, I did it. I will go clean some cash or clean some trash and pay you some cash. And that's it, man. Like, the government slapped him on the wrist for beating the brakes off a man. I just saw the picture for the first time, and that is something else. But suspension is still possible. Some people, this is like a litmus test. Either you think this is good news because he's not going to jail, or you think, oh, he could still get suspended because there was action. So, Andrew, I'll let you take it away, and I'll be back, gents.
Yeah, this feels like he's still going to get suspended. I could see the league still passing down something along the lines of 3 to 5 games here, just with kind of how they've gone about things. You're thinking just 1 week?
No, 6. I'm sorry.
Oh, 6. It looked like you were holding up one finger.
6, at least.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by 6. I wouldn't be surprised by 6 either.
Because he literally just said
coming.
I'm sorry. Keep on going. I'll talk when I'm told.
No, I mean, that's basically it. Something's coming here. I don't think we're going to see Alvin Kamara. So what gets confusing now here is, how quick do they come down with the suspension? Is this something that they suspend? He appeals. He sneaks in a week or two. I don't think so. I think at this point there's still enough time where if he's going to miss time, it's going to be straight off the bat. Jamal Williams, everybody. Jamal Williams is going to vouch some touchdowns early. Use him early and then ship his ass out for the best you can get at some point. Yeah. Is how I feel about the situation. How do you guys feel on Kamara? I wasn't touching Kamara anyways, honestly, just because of all this stuff going on.
I mean, I'll take Kamara, but I mean, I'm not going to take him in the 7th round like every other Jackpot is doing right now. Every other Jag-off is going, I'm going to
I've got a name. I've got a name here, all right? Call me by my name.
You know what, Chuck? You and your goddamn 5 o'clock shadow stubble over there. Looking like you just came off a goddamn bender. It's Wednesday, bro. How
I've been drinking all day, man. Once I got the news that Alvin Kamara pleaded what he pleaded, NFL hasn't made a comment. I know the suspension's not going to be near as bad as everybody hopes it should be, or probably it needs to be. Look, we don't know what this guy did to provoke Alvin Kamara. Things are crazy right now. Do you guys remember when Dalvin Cook's like girlfriend released that picture and was like, Dalvin, what about my face? And everyone was like, oh, here comes the Dalvin Cook suspension. Yada, yada, yada. Look, man, I don't know what the fuck is ever going to go on with these players and this legal systems. All I know is you give me 4 games of Alvin Kamara being suspended. He's still the best running back on the team. He's still one of the 5 best receiving backs in the league. And their defense is significantly worse. I like Kendre Miller. I like Jamal Williams early. I think that's a great pick. Get something out of him. However, I just don't think Jamal Williams is that good. I think he's exactly what he's been asked to be in his career. And NFL GMs and coaches are all about winning football games. They're not going to care. Good locker guys can only take you so far. And that's an organization with a ton of pressure on it in the post-Drew Brees era. So I still believe pretty strongly in Kamara, and I like where his ADP is. It hasn't really jumped up yet because we don't know what's going to happen. So, I wouldn't reach on the guy, but I believe he can still be a pretty strong fantasy asset for the upcoming season.
So when you say he hasn't jumped up, what would you consider him being like his jumped up ADP at? Like what round are you looking at? Because I know in my Scott Fishbowl league, I just checked, he went 8-3 currently in my league.
It's tough, right? I took him, and Scott Fishbowl is a good barometer right now because, it's a very good – we're all drafting at the same time, right? So it's a very good industry look at what people are looking at. I took him at the end of the 8th, but I think if they were to announce that he's fine, right? Skates free. Let's just go to redraft real quick. This is a 3rd-round pick, easily. He's jumping right back up, and that's not just me saying that. I've seen speculation – had conversations with people. He's just still got that much receiving value baked in. Think of him like a Travis Etienne with Kendre Miller being the Tanks Bigsby, only maybe a little bit better. So I think, if a suspension comes out and it's minimal, 4 games, which I think is minimal, I think you're looking at him shooting into that Madison, maybe a little faster, maybe like that Dalvin Cook, Miles Sanders tier. And if you believe that that's going to happen, I mean, now's a good time to grab him if you can get him in that 7th, 8th, 9th round, if, people are not as bullish.
Would you be shocked if I told you that Alexander Madison actually went 2 picks after him at 8-5 in my league?
Shock, no, but surprise. Jesus, I was going to say shock, no, surprise, yes. Shock, no, but man, that is so, in a format that runs so heavy, so RB heavy, to see a guy who he's a sure thing to get a lot of volume, not the Dalvin Cook volume. We talked about that quite a few shows ago, but I mean, nobody's going to be more involved in the Minnesota running game than Alexander Madison. That's wild.
See, I think they switched the game up. I think their game is going to be more passing now. Honestly, I don't see Alexander Madison getting 300 carries, and I wouldn't want to see Alexander Madison get 300 carries because if he's not playing Seattle or he's not playing Detroit, he actually sucks.
What? He gets to play Detroit twice a year. He gets to play Detroit twice a year, and its sample size is so small.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so tiny. But here's the thing. Alvin Kamara, there's no way in hell that he doesn't face at least at least 3 games of suspension. He has literally gone out there and said, I will pay you money to shut up about this. Because at this point, it's all but proven that he was at least involved in this man's beatdown. And as far as the Dalvin Cook case, I actually looked that up, and that's still an ongoing trial right now. So that's probably why we have no resolution to any of that issue. But I can't see the NFL going out there and saying there's so much evidence that says this guy did it. And then he pretty much went out and said, here's $100,000. Shut up about this. And I just don't see them seeing.
You can't see the NFL not doing what they should have done.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Come on. This is the NFL we're talking about here.
I think it's safe to say that we can never.
Ray Rice got 4 games for beating his wife in an elevator. So,
it's clear video evidence.
I know.
Too. There was no walking away from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we never know. It's hard to predict what the NFL is going to do in these situations. They've proven that they are just flying by the seat of their pants, making it up as they go. So it does make it very hard. I would have honestly taken him at Alexander Madison in the 8th round. If he had fallen to me to the 8th, 10th pick instead of the 8-5 pick. because I think at that point, as a number 3 running back, I'd be cool riding that. If I was doing a 0 running back build and that's how he felt to me as like my number 1 or 2, I wouldn't feel great about that though. Because I mostly agree with Justin on Madison. He's going to have his moments,
that's fair, right?
He's not going to be a running back that carries my team.
So Alexander Madison and mine just went 6'6", and I was absolutely disgusted by that. I was like, "Oh my god, what is going on here?"
It's so hard too in these leagues to compare who went where. And I know we're gonna have a big talk about all this, but like, man, some of these drafts are all over the place. It's crazy. It just all comes down to like, what are you? And this is what we talk about weekly, right? Like, what are you asking Alexander Madison to be for your team, right? Like, I feel like it's very Deebo Samuel, where like I don't want Deebo Samuel to be my wide receiver 1. But if he's my wide receiver 3 or my first flex, I'm feeling pretty hot about that. I don't think I want Alexander Madison as my running back 1. Probably not even as my running back 2. But if he's like one of my top flexes, I'm feeling a little bit better about what his upside can be. But I mean, so much depends on that, you know.
Yeah, I agree. If he's a flex play or if he's even an RB3, I'll back off. You know, that's probably where I'll take him. But I'm not going to rely on him as my hero RB, and I really feel sketched out about having him as my RB2.
Yeah. Are we still talking about Kamara? We're not done yet?
Yeah, no, we were just kind of wrapping it up.
No, we pivoted. We pivoted into who's going around Kamara now and who he could be going around if an alleviated suspension were to come his way, which it will.
Okay. Okay, I can get on board with that. I was just like, just don't draft him at ADP. I was like, but I'll let you guys finish then. I'm sorry for coming in hot about it. I just had stronger. Oh, okay, cool. Well, other than that, on news and announcements, like it's kind of fun to miss news and announcements because, like I said, we're in the dark ages right now. Like we're like, I guess there is something. We're 1 week out from rookies reporting to camp and like training camp starting. Netflix put out a show about 3 quarterbacks that you probably don't really give a shit about. Like, I guess Patrick Mahomes is okay, but like, I don't want to watch Kirk Cousins and I don't want to watch Marcus Mariota. But the real announcement that I want to talk about is that the Dynasty Cup is here. We brought it up last week a little bit, but we want to invent something that is a tournament that proves just how good you are at Dynasty. You know, no more of this. How good did you do in the Scott Fish? Now we have something for Dynasty. We have a killer lineup coming for you in August. We have the folks like Dave Kluge. We have our boy Herms is coming on. We've got Jordan Rames, who is on last week. We got all kinds of folks coming in. Yeah, we got Kevin Coleman. We got so many people. I will announce the lineup, so make sure that you're following us on Twitter. But we have heavy hitters and we'll put out an announcement. We're thinking about multiple divisions here, guys, and the winner of your division will win a pot, but the divisional winner with the highest total points scored is going to win a massive pot. And all this will be announced here pretty soon, but we'll shove on past, we'll pay some bills, and then we'll talk Scott Fish, y'all.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code TSS Dynasty to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
Good girl.
Good girl. Gingerbread sits you. And it is tournament season, y'all, which is a perfect transition into our big boy of the day, our big boy segment, which is it's actually Scott Fishbowl. It's no more like this isn't a drill. It's real. We have real rosters. We have permanently made bad decisions or good ones. And we've already started flexing and bragging on Twitter, but we can actually dig deep a little bit into these rosters and talk about kind of our thought process throughout here, because like, again, we went through this a little bit and went through the way that we that we would like to approach. And then if you look at some of Chuck's rosters, he's just pure fucking chaos. So now actually seeing his roster completed at this point, it's fun to see like the chaos come together. So we'll start with yours. Let me get yours pulled up. Give me just a second. You went like robust running back. Am I correct?
I kind of did. I hammered running back and tight end, and I mean hammered across the board, and that's not an alcohol pun. I realized something about this competition. So like the live events are a blast, right? And a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. A lot of camaraderie, I mean, just, we all love drafting live. There's some motherfucking sharps in these live drafts, and I realize that when I see some of the fucking draft boards you guys got to compete against as opposed to mine. I was getting just absolutely sniped 8, 9, 10 picks down the road all the way up until I was about to pick, man. It was I had to go wild with it, and I had to get a little nuts. And I still feel good about it. I do so many of these mocks and stuff, mainly just to be a meme and stir the pot. And sometimes it does bleed into my season. But here, man, I actually did feel pretty strongly about having an original team.
Nice. So I'm still pulling yours up because I got to sign back into Slack. Oh, wait, here it is. Give me just a second. Yeah, you went bully tight end, which is like ballsy as hell for like I said, like I get it. I get why people went like bully tight end and robust running back. But I don't know if I'm just like too orthodox to my own methodology to have the balls to do it. So I commend you for doing that for us. There it is. Your first pick that you went one on, and you picked from the tail end, the 112, right?
Yeah, I was at the mercy of the draft on like with very very much, and that's what you got to do, right? Like when you're that far down the line, you kind of have to take your swings, right? You can't hope on anybody coming back around. It's like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plant my flag right now. And, you can crunch all the numbers you want on tight end and running back in this format, but we really don't know. So I'm trying to capitalize on that and, maybe sour some other teams in the process.
Okay, I got his roster pulled up. He went at the 112. He's at the turn here. Austin Eckler and then Bijan Robinson. Like for me right there, I'm like, cool. I don't need another running back ever. Like I just like I feel like you just nailed it right then. And then like of course we got rounds. Yeah, exactly. And then this is where he takes into the bully tight end. And remember, we got third round reversal. So this is like almost like a
Andrew, can you put that on my screen? What I just shared? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There, yeah, here's the roster right here, so we can look at it. He went bully tight end right after that, and he pulls the trigger. Oh, excuse me. He gets Anthony Richardson because we got the per carry thing. So right now, I think it is automatic that you should be targeting rushing quarterbacks. So I think Jalen Hurts is a 101. We'll talk about Jalen Hurts and how I got sniped at the 102 later.
So I do have to say something stupid happened here. Stupid might be the wrong word, but this is where this show is so great, right? I did enough mocks with Justin and saw Justin take him at like 204 that when he's there at like 301, I'm like, oh shit, is this a deal? Is this like a little action I'm about to get right now?
Yeah, dude, that's I think that's pretty apt right there because if I could get, I was targeting
Happy to help,
at like the 311. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I took him over Daniel Jones, but those were the only two guys I would have taken there. And if not, I would have punted down the line pretty significantly on quarterback. I just don't value it as much as because I only value the rushing quarterbacks. So not only, but I have a high priority on them. And so if they're not available, I was comfortable with, some of the later picks. But man, quarterbacks went so much earlier than I was expecting a lot of them to go. But I mean, that's kind of what happens
for you right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That explains why you got like Matt Stafford, because like that, at least you got like Stafford. Trey Lance. Yeah. You got Trey Lance as like a, a backstop if he hits, and I don't blame you at all because I'm thinking about drafting him myself. But like besides of what you did as far as like where you went like with your running backs, and when you drafted at the opposite end that I did, I love your draft because your receivers are kind of the same where I'm at. I drafted Brandon Ayuk and Jahan Dotson around the same area you did. Actually, Brandon Ayuk I probably drafted a little earlier, which is great. You got two guys who have consistent like weekly wide receiver one upside, and this is going to be like more of like a ports per game thing. Exactly. Like you're going off spike weeks, but like your tight ends, man, you got Dallas Goedert, you got Darren Waller. These are guys that, again, you want to talk about guys who could finish, let's say tight end 2. Cause like till Travis Kelce is a, dethroned. I think Darren Waller is excellent because, like, imagine if you would have went Daniel Jones here and went after that stack. Justin and Andrew, I'll let you talk about Chuck's roster here and give your thoughts and opinions. Maybe shit on him.
No, I'm not going to shit on him here because I think when you like he said, he let the draft come to him, and when you end up 2 top running backs right at the turn, and then turns around and takes his rushing quarterback at the start of the 3rd round. I think considering the way his build went and then going tight end heavy as well, you still managed to get a balanced team here. Like, I like the upside of the receivers you have. I like even the guys you have in your flex. Now, we talked about Kamara earlier. I'm not exactly stoked on Kamara, but what's that? I can't even see. It's too small. You got him at the end of the 8th round. So, like, I guess value-wise that could play out real well for you. So, yeah, I like the way you went so far. I was surprised. I think I told you I was surprised with the route you went, just based on the conversations we had in the weeks leading up to it, that this didn't seem like the strategy you were going to employ, but it works.
Yeah, it does.
It got a little, I don't know. I just felt like I had to, and Jaeger, you said a lot of good stuff. I mean, those wide receivers, I took them specifically because I think those are guys who have the potential to be, I think people have an idea of who they are already as opposed to an idea of who we think they can be. And those are the kind of guys I'm trying to grab pretty consistently. I felt similarly with Chark. I felt similarly with London. This will be a winning team or the by far worst team in the division. And that's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah, this. So, Chuck, remember in the mock draft, when we did the mock draft, and that's exactly what you said about my team. I look at this team and I'm like, I actually really like this team because all you have to do is have one of these receivers pay off into like the next tier and you're almost set. You have Drake London or Brandon Ayuk hit up into that top 15 range. Good. Then you got Darren Waller in a new spot where he's got limited wide receiver options. You got Dallas Goedert, who will just build off of last year's connection with Jalen Hurts. One bully tight end, Alvin Kamara. Whatever happens with him, he could be one of those sneaky back end of the season type of guys where you start to go on a roll, and it's because of Alvin Kamara. Zach Charbonnet, obviously a big question mark right now. Might not be a big question. Like, Kenneth Walker was a big question mark going into last season. Now he's officially in the Rashad Penny role, and Charbonnet's right where Walker was last year. So who's to say it doesn't, repeat itself again, and Charbonnet is not the lead back by the end of the year? Matthew Stafford. I still like Matthew Stafford as a solid quarterback, but that's mostly because he's got Cooper Kupp. He's got the ultimate safety valve. Guy catches everything. And then I do like what you did with Algier, handcuffing him to Bijan. And then DJ Chark, very underrated play right there. I think so. Yeah, hardest to get DJ Chark and Alec Pierce at the end of every single draft because I look at those guys as really huge possibilities to break out like the top 50 in wide receivers, and their ADP is well below that. So I really like what you did here, and low-key Jerome Ford, I actually like that pick a lot too because
same.
Kareem Hunt had a big role in that offense, and they need somebody to fill those shoes. And guess what? It's not going to be Dearness Johnson because he's in Jacksonville. So who's it going to be? Jerome.
Tough.
It's a
Yeah.
great example of why no Scott Fishbowl leagues are alike, because DJ Chark went to you in the 15th round. He went in the 13th in my league.
It's
Yeah,
crazy,
so
man. It's
round
crazy.
difference on some of these guys.
It's funny because, and
There was
we'll move
probably
on, but like
somebody
this
thinking
this
me,
team,
like, I don't want these bitches to get it.
this team was probably 3 snipes, and I mean quick snipes too, within like a couple picks of looking completely different. And I mean completely different from like a Jamar Gibbs to a Keenan Allen to like some other running backs I'm looking at right now. I'm trying to think of who else I had target. Miles Sanders. I mean, Mixon, guys who were like so close to like completely reshaping what this roster looks like. And you just kind of never know, right? You have to be as fluid as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, and one last thing before we move on, that here's a good point that, like, especially with Scott Fishbowl, pay attention to your scoring and rules, because one thing that like Chuck said, he was at the mercy of his draft slot. I think the tail end of the draft was the optimal spot to be at least like after like the sixth pick and on, because like look, we'll get to my roster next. I liked where I was at. I'm not hating my roster at all, but you were able, like, I feel way more comfortable going like a robust running back early, seeing the roster that you got afterwards, because you have that third round reversal. So you have the opportunity to get your quarterback, or if you want to get a tight end, you just have like a lot more options. So I like that. And then the two, we just talked about the difference. Like Jahan Dotson went 10-12. I took him, and we'll go to mine in a minute. I took him in the 8th round, and he would have went there anyway, regardless, because someone else, I sniped someone else. So Andrew, actually, this is a good segue. We'll move up to my roster, and we'll get Justin time to send his screenshot in. Oh, it is. I see it. Okay. Bear with us, folks, while Andrew gets this on the board. I started at the 102. So
did you send me your roster?
Josh Allen reluctantly.
Oh, there it is.
It's on Slack.
I got it.
He's getting
reluctant Josh Allen pick.
I took the 102. Yeah, exactly. But like I knew I was like, this is Scott Fishbowl. Someone's gonna take Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes. That's what I thought. So I was like, if I get Hurts, I know it's one pick, but that's one pick further back on like a turn. I'd rather start further back as possible. I ended up getting sniped on Jalen Hurts, and I'm not gonna lie, like I tilted a little bit, and then I just slapped myself and realized that Josh Allen rushes too, and is also like really, really good at football, and I should stop being a shithead about it. What killed me, honestly, is the stack here, because like I'm a dynasty guy through and through, and I hate taking old wide receivers, so I had to shower after drafting Stephon Diggs ahead of like AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson, because
I get that. I get it. I totally understand.
You got to, though. It's like in this format, it's plus EV, man. It stacks, and like let's say that like you're the one guy listening or watching who doesn't know what like a stack means and what plus EV means. A plus EV means it's plus estimated value, meaning that when Josh Allen throws a touchdown, it's more likely to go to Stephon Diggs than it's likely to go to AJ Brown. So that week, you're getting the most out of your spike weeks. And I know that's a stupid way to do it. Well, of course it's going to go to Stephon Diggs. So why wouldn't it go to AJ Brown? That's why you shouldn't draft AJ Brown, because if he has a down week, that does nothing for you, if that makes sense. You know, whereas like Josh Allen's always going to be good. So your chances of Stephon Diggs being good are doubled on top of that. And even in this format, you get the triple stack, where you have kickers who are, you get like 3.3 points per like point after. So like if you turn around and get the triple stack on one touchdown, that's like that's a lot of math, but that's good points. It's a lot of
triple
math.
Stack and double stack. You don't see it often.
Exactly. So moving on down this roster, like I'm a zero. I told you guys I was going to go zero running back, and I did. And like I kind of alluded on Chuck's roster, I took Daniel Jones at the 311, and like to me it's obvious. Daniel Jones, if you were to look at my draft board, he was the only quarterback with the exception of Kyler Murray, who's coming off injury, with the rushing floor. And if you're getting a point per rush attempt, it's a no-brainer that Daniel Jones has a smash in this format. And then I keep hammering wide receiver home, or I get my tight end. I get Kyle Pitts. I pissed a lot of people off because Kyle Pitts and like redraft is going like 2 rounds later than this, like two, and when you talk about like these higher rounds, that's a lot. So someone's like, I thought I was gonna get him. I'm like, bro, you guys let a fucking shark in this lobby. You weren't walking away with Kyle Pitts, So I took him there, and then again, I continue to hit wide receiver and take DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk, Jahan Dotson. I finally take my first wide receiver with David Montgomery because again, I'm okay settling for grinders. Because I know this is a gamble. It's kind of the opposite of what Chuck hits because I treat this like tight end. I'm going to get the studs, or I'm going to wait, and I'm going to get guys who are going to get carries. They may not be as meaningful as Bijan, but they could be good. So I'll pass it off to you, Chuck. What do you think of my roster? Roast me.
Roasting is hard because it's like a lot of people went with, and I do mean a lot of people because it's very consistent across the board, but it's not consistent in this group. And I mean the 4 of us. A lot of people went balanced. And I think the balance that a lot of people have is going to end up biting them in the ass because they're not going to, even if they reach those topper parts of their own group, I don't think that they're going to come. They don't have the ceiling that a lot of these other teams have. You crushed it pretty heavily with the EV talk. I mean, that's 101. And you've got 2 high quality rushing quarterbacks. Hard to pass on that, or not hard to pass, hard to dog that even whatsoever. And I mean, you took guys that you might have a wide receiver heavy build, which might look, it's not like you took, and where you got the guys at value, you didn't reach for a bunch of like stud wide receivers. You've got your Diggs and your DJ Moores, which are going to be anchor wide receivers. And you've got Ayuk and Dotson, who we already talked about as far as guys who can elevate their play into a tier, but they're not being drafted like they can elevate themselves. And you got Montgomery, who is like, was anybody gonna be surprised if Montgomery is like a top 13 back this year? And I know that's a very specific range of outcomes. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's going to be very involved in a heavy Lions rushing attack. So, and this is just the beginning of your draft. I mean, you're so far behind. You got so many more. You got so many other good places that you can go with this. But as far as like the foundation of the team, you're looking absolutely rock solid.
Yeah, and it's like you said, man. Like, I'm at a point. Like, I kind of like that we're all at different levels, or at least that I'm behind. Because now I could tell you guys. Let's say you're at this point. Hopefully, no one in my lobby is watching this, but like I have a very set plan. Like I was talking to them. Like I'm lucky. I have a really good group. They are sharks. I got like Sam Wagman in there, and then even like the normie folks are in there. Like they know their shit. So we're like very active and chatty. But I'm one of the few guys where they're like, you have a plan. I'm like, bro, I'm going on schedule. The Jalen Hurts thing, like fucked me up. But I've been saying on this podcast, this is how I build rosters. And I've been saying on every podcast, I love David Montgomery. I feel good depending on the build having David Montgomery as my RB1 or 2. I again, guys, Andrew showed a roster that we won't put this guy on blast, but he's a guy that had a hero build.
I was actually we were thinking the same thing because I was just looking at his roster, seeing where he went after I showed it to you. You continue, then I'll give you an update.
It's a human rights violation.
We might put him on blast. I don't know. I kind of want to see it, but like
we can show it without his name.
Yeah, there's a right way to do like 0 RB and hero RB, and there's a wrong way. And I try to do it the right way. Wide receivers aren't as valued as much as tight ends and running backs. But if I'm going to get wide receivers, I want studs. I don't want, maybe Chris Godwin or maybe this. I went with studs early because there is a real cliff of running back. After Jahan Dotson, I am skipping 2 rounds on wide receiver. I don't care about those at all. Yeah, that's Chuck, where you went towards the tail end of your draft. That's exactly where I'm going. I'm looking at. I got Charbonnet at the top of my queue. I'm gonna hit that right there. I got Damian Harris going later because like one of my strategies here. Like maybe I'm trying to overdo it, but I want every Buffalo Bills rushing touchdown. So that means that I'm going to get Josh Allen and Damian Harris, and I
Damian
I want
Harris
it.
was one of the guys that got sniped from me, and that one like actually really made me mad because it was in the 12th round, and I was like, here he comes, I'm going to get him. This is my number 4 running back is going to be great.
Yeah. So like that's with that's with purpose. There are wrong ways to do ZRB. Let's say like I got like if I went DK Metcalf with like my wide receiver one, that is like a wrong way to do it. I think that's like that's someone that is like not going to get. Again, you're doing two things wrong. You're not going plus EV, and then you're not going. You're not. I think that DK Metcalf is good. I just don't see like. One word that I love to use now is range of outcomes because it is more specific than ceiling. I don't think DK Metcalf's range of outcomes is consistently finishing top 5. I think he can consistently finish top 10, and he's going to have like a 45-point spike week. Like I can almost guarantee he's going to have that. But I just don't see the consistency out of any of the Seattle wide receivers, to be honest. Like I love Tyler Lockett, but that's not a guy that I want to have in this type of build. Justin, Andrew, do you have any thoughts before we move on to your guys' rosters?
No, you guys nailed it off this one for me. Nothing to add.
Yeah.
All right.
DK Metcalf didn't have a top 5. He didn't have a top 6 week last year, let alone them drafting Jackson Smith and Jigba this year.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
We do need to quickly, like we alluded to, just how not to do a hero running back build with that lineup that I sent you guys. I'm gonna give you an update of where that went because I forget what the last. I forget what the last. I think it was like Jahan Dotson or something was the last guy that you guys saw. So this guy had the number 1 pick. Patrick Mahomes is fine. And then he went running back in the 2nd round with Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, fine. Then he went like I don't love it, but like whatever. Let's see what he does, kind of thing. After that running back Gibbs in the 2nd round, he drafted
Such a kneecap.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 wide receivers now up until the 14th round. 8 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, another quarterback, and his 2nd running back now is Jerick McKinnon. His RB2 is Jerick McKinnon anchoring down Jahmyr Gibbs.
That's a content team. Somebody laid down on the wire so that their team would get spread around for content.
Yeah, so his last like 5 picks was Addison, Dalton Kincaid, Jerick McKinnon, and then Sky Moore and Rashay Rice.
Yeah, that's like again, the reason why you don't do that, guys, is like I said that wide receiver cliff. Like I've drafted my wide receivers. There's guys that I want. I want to get Flowers later. I want to get Elijah Moore, but like I don't need them. I don't need them, if that makes sense. Like I don't need to go and get them now. All I need to focus on is running back at this point. So
this guy could have somewhat saved this to be like he's just taking massive risk here because his last 2 picks at the turn was, like I said, were Moore and Rice. 2 running backs that were actually I will give because there's only been a few picks of them. The 4 running backs that came off the board since that pick, Tanks Bigsby. What's the I forget his first name, Johnson in Chicago.
Roshan.
Thank you. Yep.
2 guys I'd rather have.
Ezekiel Elliott and Kenneth Gainwell were 4 running backs that have been taken since he took his last 2 picks. If he took Bigsby and Johnson there with those next 2 picks, like I still don't love his running back build, but I can at least say, okay, he realized he made a mistake and he's trying his best.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, I was like those are the guys that you want. Like those are the 1 injury away, or they're a young guy. They're a young guy that could probably eat in the snaps. Like that. Those are your targets. That just ain't it. So this is a good segue. So what did you do, Andrew? What is the good thing that you did? Pull up your roster and let's talk about that.
Yeah, let me see if I can. Let me stop that.
I love your
switch screens.
Oops. Yeah, I get it. I love your wide receivers. While he gets this up, he started with Trevor Lawrence, and then he gets Jamar Chase. Like right there, this is fucking beautiful. And he's got the whole board up.
Yeah, I got the whole board up, but I'm let me show my mouse over there. You can't see my mouse. Never mind. I'm in the 10th slot though. Yeah, so look, I don't mind the way my draft has gone. What I am starting to not like is my running back room because that's where I kept getting sniped right about after the Dalton Schultz pick. because my hope was to take Schultz there and then to take Montgomery right at when that came back around on the turn. I did not think the guy in the 12th spot was going to take another running back, considering what he had on his team already. And I was wrong. And I lost out on Montgomery. I probably still could have gotten Schultz if I just reversed my order there and taken Montgomery and then Schultz after the turn. So I wish that had happened, because now I'm not loving the idea of Ezekiel Elliott as my 4th running back, considering he's on a team, but I've had to pivot to what I've had to do.
Yeah. You got a strong core, though. Like, if let's say Lawrence takes the step forward here, then you got like Lawrence consistently top 10, and then he has rushing upside that's underrated. But you got studs like Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Smith. Like, those are 3 guys. We talk about range of outcomes. Top 5 is in their range of outcomes every week. These are set it and forget it guys.
And if Lawrence takes that step, having both Ridley and Kirk, one of them will take that step with him too.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why. That's why once I got one, I knew I had to eventually grab Kirk.
This is a really funny one, because you had Christian Kirk at 9-3. In my draft, he went 6-12 before Ridley.
Did he really?
What?
That's wild,
man.
This is why these things are insanity. It's just crazy.
And that's so funny. I almost screwed up that Ridley pick too, for me, because I actually where I took Walker at the my screen a little bit at the 5-3 pick. I actually meant to draft Ridley there, and then I kind of had a brain fart, and I took Walker, and then like the second after I took Walker, I went like, shit, I screwed up. Like, I'm not going to get Ridley now. There's no way he's going to come back around to me. I predicted that 5th round and 6th round to be mostly wide receivers taken. I got lucky. He came back around to me, and I think I made that pick in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, because like again, plus EV, man. You got Trevor Lawrence's. Let's just project the top target. What round is that? The 6th round? That's wild stuff, guys. That is.
Well,
wild
look where Evan Ingram went right before my Ridley pick. I had planned on taking Ingram there instead.
So I guess this is a good time to ask you guys this. How often are you guys willing? I heard this talk from a couple people. They were like, "Well, I need to stop letting people get their stacks." And I'm like, I don't. I've never. I don't. What?
Just draft for spite.
Yeah, like I don't think like that. I think like I can get this stack or I like this player, but I don't think fuck this guy, because like one, you're thinking in such a small vacuum, because you're not playing against just the guys in your lobby. You're playing it with like I'm playing against Chuck. I'm playing against.
That's absolutely
Justin.
it. No, you're so right. It's like in This Is the End when Danny McBride is like, pours all the water out, and he's like, "You guys forced my fucking hand." He pours all That's what I think of when I think of people do. I think of people going and putting stacks out like that, or like anti-stack hunting, basically. That's awful.
Yeah, it was some wild, like again, like that. I'm glad you guys thought that, because like they're nice guys, and like again, like for the most part, they're like not. I'm not in a chunk division. Like, I picked the high noon division because I'm like, guys who drink high noons, they don't give a fuck. They're just trying to have a good time. And like, turns out they are serious. They just have like very good taste in seltzers. So like, like I'm not trying to like crap on them or anything like that. But I heard that comment, and I thought that was wild, that you're gonna chase a stack. Oh, we got Club Fantasy FFL. These are my boys here.
Okay. We were just both looking at the same time.
Yeah. Definitely got sniped on my Herbert Allen stack. Oh my God. This is what we're talking about. Like, we're talking like, not only are you hamstringing yourself, you are like hurting the fun of someone else. That is like double whammy. It's like you said, you nailed it. You nailed it, Chuck, by saying it's like, this is the end. You're like you forced my hand. Let's like pour out all the water so nobody has fun.
Yeah. It feels like such a lack of confidence in yourself, if we're being honest. That's how it really feels if you're going that route.
All right. Yeah. Literally drinking a high noon right now. See, this is what I'm saying.
Let's go.
Like,
Let's go, baby.
apparently the fantasy community, they know a good fucking seltzer. Like they know a good seltzer.
Watch out for those Sunny D's though. Those Sunny D's will get you.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Justin's roster right now, and his is probably one of my favorites, to be honest. I'm a little Justin. You're good at this. There's a reason why you're fantasy Jesus, and we're just your disciples, my guy. Like,
I do love the start of this roster too. This roster is pretty ideal.
So you're gonna hate me for saying this because you just ripped a hole into people who snipe people to intentionally get stacks away from certain people. So I did that a couple times just because I was not being spiteful. I was just trying to be strategic about it. I was just like, this motherfucker is going to get Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson. And I'm just like, Mark Andrews look really good on my team. Yep, click.
That's just a good pick. Good pick.
And then literally a couple rounds later, guy next to me had been going off. He's like the most excited guy in our entire group. And I was just like, you know what?
It's time to take him down a notch.
This guy's got Tua. I'm going to take Jalen motherfucking Waddle because he's going to look real good on my team.
Oh, man. That's God, I just called you fantasy Jesus, and you're over here doing the devil's work. I'm just to be fair, like you took Justin Herbert, so like you don't have like I would call like a premium stack. Like I don't really like I don't want Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. And Keenan Allen, we might eat shit about. Like I love Keenan Allen's game, but Keenan Allen is old as hell, and I play Dynasty, so I don't want him on my roster. So like really, would you take Justin Herbert? It's the Wild West for you, baby. You're like, I'm about to chaos. If I fuck with you, you're on my roster. Like you know, sorry, I don't blame you for doing this at all. Because it's like who are you gonna take? You kind of went hero running back, but like DeAndre Swift is like when we talk about heroes, he's like Hawkeye. He's not Iron Man, but like he's a hero, you know, in somebody's eyes. I wanted Swift and I went against it. I could have got Swift, but I didn't want to take the cliff. And Justin, I'm happy that you're in a lobby that's just as fucking slow as I am, or maybe you started later than I did.
It's worse. I made so much worse.
I made 6 picks today.
I'll look at these guys be on green, and I'm just pick a fucking player. What are you doing?
That does annoy me when you can see that they're online.
Yeah.
And they don't pick. And then you see the green dot disappear.
I know shit you. This guy was on live for 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I just about damn near writ on there. Just fucking pick already.
God damn it, that's not enough time.
It's an 8-hour clock. I get all 8 hours.
Exactly. Faceman in my lobby, if you ever see this, I love you, dude, because we bonded because your name is from the A-Team and I'm full of pop culture and I happen to just know that old ass show. But damn it, bro, you're at the turn and you fucking kill me. Like he's right there messaging us. He's like, let me get off the golf course. And I'm like, you're right there. You're on your phone. Just like you have a queue. Like we're professionals. Right. This is a tournament.
Do people not use their queue and rank them in the order they like?
Yes. Not let me get off the tractor. Let me get off the Bobcat. Let me get off the fucking crane. Something that's dangerous to somebody. Now this motherfucker's over here chugging a high noon going, oh shit, it's my turn to go. I got to get over here in the shade so I can make the appropriate pick. I don't want my phone to get all hot. Make the fucking shit.
No shit, Justin. He sent a picture of a high noon. I'm like, this motherfucker has, excuse my French, this dude has like time to snapshot a high noon. It wasn't even a good flavor. It was grapefruit. And then like he posted.
I bet it wasn't even the first. I bet it wasn't even the first picture. I bet he took 6.
Now you're shooting down his flavor choice. That's low, man.
Grapefruit and alcohol don't really work together.
And then thank you, Justin. Yeah, grapefruit is ungood. I will drink it because I'm drunk, but like I'm gonna bitch about it in my head the whole time. But like it's like
not a good alcohol mix. I agree.
No, exactly. And the fact that he chose his first pick, And then again, he's at the turn. Then he's like, "Hang on, I'll pick in a second." I'm like, "Bro, like you're at the turn. You're at the golden spot. What are we doing?" Anyway, I'm sorry about that tangent, guys. I just got real there's draft etiquette. There's draft etiquette.
That was truth.
I was about.
That wasn't a tangent.
Yeah.
That was truth.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of time. So I will kick the new topic I have till next week, and then I'll talk about the topic that I kicked from last week. And we're talking about make or break players. This is about Dynasty and redraft. This is just football in general, to be honest. These are guys that we are rostering. We have hope and we hope that they're going to be somebody, but if they don't do it this year, we got to come to Jesus. And I'm not even talking about just Justin. I mean, like, you need to go to a tabernacle or something and really evaluate it, because like, particularly me, I have a lot of DJ Moore and Justin Fields, a lot of it. And I'm the guy that's like, you should draft DJ Moore, even though they don't rush a lot, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about math? Like, that's just been me. So I'm going to look like shit if DJ Moore doesn't do well. So where are you guys at with DJ Moore? I know I think we're collectively pro DJ Moore, right? Like, none of us are like stat heads, or like, I'm not, you won't catch me in a spreadsheet too often, when it comes to these things. I just think he's good. Like, he's good.
I'm with you. I want to know what for this is a really good one, right? Because some of the guys we're going to talk about have varying degrees of like what their make is, right? For DJ Moore, I just want to know if he has another gear. If he doesn't, would love to know that he doesn't, so that I can, and I still think he has a lot of value, really. If he doesn't have another gear that he can go to, I just want to know if he does or not. Right. Like the whole Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown going to different teams and being unlocked. Like, we saw them be very good with their original teams. So I just want to know with him specifically, like, have we seen what DJ Moore can be yet, or do we already know?
Yeah, we don't. Because we've seen 1 year where we've seen 3 years where he's been good, but can't score a touchdown because he's been in Carolina, which is a touchdown desert. It's been that way.
In Carolina with Christian McCaffrey at the time for the majority of those days, who is the only guy who could score a touchdown on that team.
Yeah. It's just, and here's the argument that I want to push back on, because like, I was going to have us vote on make or break. We all think he's going to make it. We all think he's going to make it. People keep talking about rushing volume. They're like Chicago Bears were historically low, so they would have to throw at an historically regressive rate higher to get there. And I'm like, you act like they can't make the fucking decision to throw more, or they can't make I don't understand it. Like, people are just like, well, I can't get DJ Moore because they ran a lot, because that's the only thing that they could do. If you don't have wide receivers, you're not going to throw the ball. You're going to throw it to your running back and run it with a good running quarterback. It just makes sense. It's not like Matt Eberflus is going to be like, well, Andrew's spreadsheet says that it's impossible for me to throw more, so I'm not going to do it.
He doesn't have a chance at winning the Super Bowl then. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, what are we doing? We get to the point where we remove ourselves so far from fantasy. So I'm just going to move off that for the sake of time. I'm going to move on to our next one.
I will say, I have one more bully point for you there. The 2018 Ravens, when Lamar took over for Joe Flacco, rushed at the highest rate of comparison to passing as any team since like the 1940 Bears. And the next year, rookie Marquise Brown was averaging almost 7 targets a game in just 11 starts. Like, I don't want to hear that these things can't swing incredibly. The offense moved from wide receivers, the 2018 of Lamar, averaging less than 3 targets a game, to doubling that. I know 7 doesn't sound like a lot. It's 200% more than they were averaging in the 9 games that Lamar played the previous season. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear any of that.
Well, it makes sense, because what's the easiest way to get a young rookie quarterback comfortable in the NFL? It's letting him do what he's comfortable with. Yes. And they let him do what he was comfortable with in that team. And now year 2, there's a reason why they say year 2 and 3 are the biggest tells for young QBs on whether they're going to make it, because those are the years that the team then turns around and gives them more responsibility and more, I guess, versatility in their game, and you got to see if they can handle it. That's what it's all about. They know how to play football. They know how to be athletic. Let's see what Justin Fields does.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you can't buy
Absolutely.
Justin Fields anymore, but you can still buy DJ Moore. There is a theory that like someone in your league likes DJ Moore more than you, and they already have it, so you can afford him, and it's probably true. And his name is probably his name is probably Fantasy Glitch. If you're with me, I
It's all
got
of us.
The answer is no. Unless you're gonna overpay, the answer is no. So like, don't hit me up. Like, stay out of my DMs. I'm gonna shove past Brandon Ayuk because we talk about him every week and we all like him. You should buy him. We think he's good. We talk about him enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about another quarterback that one of us drafted. I think it was Andrew. Mac
sure did.
Jones. We talked about him a little bit. This is, you want to talk about make or break. Mac Jones is like, you know the cartoon where you're hanging on with two finger cliffs on the cliff. Like apparently even on his own team he is.
Come on, kitty.
So at this exactly at this year, I think he's so cheap. He's so cheap, dirt ass cheap that like I think he's worth buying. He's worth
going to
just
QB like 27, 28, 29 in that range.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Andrew, and this is redraft, but it's the same for Dynasty too, where he just took him. It's almost identical. Where Mac Jones is, you're like, oh shit, it's super flex. And I need a QB too. Oh, thank God Mac Jones is still here. Like he is that guy. That used to be Daniel Jones. And now it's Mac Jones.
Transition.
See, and specifically on my team at Scott Fishbowl, Mac Jones was my safety blanket where I took a risk with Bryce Young because I knew if I was going to take a young quarterback, I had to take him earlier. So Bryce Young is technically my second QB, but I feel comfortable with Mac Jones as my safety blanket there in case Bryce Young doesn't turn up and turn out this year. This is a developing take for me. I'm getting higher and higher on Mac Jones as the day goes on here. I have him now finishing as a top 20 QB come the year end.
Justin, are you going to let these Patriots? Are you going to let these Patriots fans just continue to do this or what?
Well, I'm gonna tell you why though, because here's my biggest thing with Mac. My biggest thing with criticisms of Mac Jones was not being able to keep his head on straight last year, losing his cool. Like it was the first time he's had to face adversity in his entire athletic career, going all the way back to Pee Wee, basically. And I just couldn't handle how he handled it. What I've been starting to see though, and there was one picture on social media that really started all these wheels turning for me. Picture of him hanging out at somewhere tropical in nice clothes with Tom Brady and Devin McCourty. If there are two guys from the Patriots history over the last 10 to 20 years that you want to be talking to a young, spitfire of a guy on your team, those are the two guys I want setting him straight. And to see that, hearing the way that the early OTA stuff was, what was coming out of there, I am just slowly getting higher and higher on Mac Jones being able to pull something together this year, which has also caused a specific tight end and Mike Gesicki to rise up my rankings just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I'm loving the value that he's getting because you're able to get him super late in these drafts as well.
Yeah. So non-Patriots fans, Justin, we'll let you start because I know Chuck is cooking, so I'm gonna let him do the finishing blow. So
we're gonna put Chuck on the back burner, let him sizzle a little bit, let him finish up everything back there. I'm gonna just tell you straight up, I like Mac Jones the quarterback. I don't like Mac Jones the fantasy player. Mac Jones the quarterback, I thought was very accurate. He had the ability to lead wide receivers in college, and I think he's an overall team leader. He is the kind of spitfire guy you want on your team to be leading your huddles. Fantasy wise, he just doesn't cut it for me. I mean, this is a guy who could average 12 points a game. That doesn't do it for me. I mean, it's nice as like you said, Andrew, a safety blanket if something goes wrong. But at that point, I'll take somebody like a Brock Purdy in that situation. And guess what? I'm guaranteed Brock Purdy's going to have at least 15 points a game because that offense is too good to fail. So I'm going to look at that from that perspective. And the Patriots, they're not even good enough to maybe beat the Georgia Bulldogs on offense. Like,
Okay.
Hey now, oh come on,
pretty
that's
fucking
yeah.
shitty.
Making my
He's
job
going 2
harder
rounds
here.
before.
That's
Mac
Yeah, I was
really
about to. Like that's okay.
We need one of those things with like a low blow or something like that, like a little.
Yeah, that
animation.
one hurt. That one hurt. Well, one more thing before I'm going to give Chuck one more piece that he can tear apart, maybe. But here's where I'm at with Mac Jones. I don't think you're right about fantasy. One reason why I think you should get Mac Jones, he's a fix and flipper. He's the house that you don't want to live in, but you could fix it up and make a nice profit on later. Because what I want for Mac Jones, I want him to get into that Derek Carr range, or that at least like maybe poor man's Kirk Cousin range. Because now, like right now, people think Mac Jones is unfucking startable. And then now people are like, well, at least I have a quarterback. And then you could package Mac Jones with like a first, and then you can maybe move up and then get like a different guy that you like that is actually going to get you fantasy points later. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm done. Chuck, I know what you think about it. Let us have it, and then we'll move on.
No, I'm going to give you guys a little gift, because I will say I think Mac Jones is bad, and I don't think he'll be a starting quarterback in the league within 3 years. However, the show is all about making the smart move, and I think that for where he's being drafted and what you're going to ask of him, I actually think his value is actually pretty nice. I look at him like you look at maybe like an RB2 in a redraft or 0 RB build, where it's like this is the most findable position stat-wise that you might be able to put up, something you can rely on. He's going after guys I would never take before him. He's going after Kenny Pickett. He's going after CJ Stroud. He's going after – I'll be honest, I would take him over Derek Carr straight up. And I know that's crazy, right? But I'm willing to throw out the entirety of last year. I mean, he was averaging, in games he didn't get injured, 35 pass attempts a game. I mean, that's going to be putting him way above some of these other guys that you'd be looking at. You know, that puts him in like Kirk Cousins level of attempts, right? They just don't have the weapons that you'd like to see, which is, I mean, like, look at 35 attempts a game. You're looking at almost 10 more than Brock Purdy. So, I mean, it's like, and that's where the San Francisco offense bakes into like its efficiency and what they're able to do overall, right? That's why you would take a Brock Purdy. I just think, you know, he is exactly he's going to be exactly who I think he is. This is just his 1 year to prove that I'm wrong.
Yep.
If only Scott Fishbowl gave you 0.25 points per pass attempt, then everybody would be all over Mac Jones.
Yeah, like
Andrew, when you drafted him, did you think that there was going to be some Hopkins coming in?
So it's in the back of my mind, but that wasn't really a main reason why I was going to draft him. I had been eyeing him for. I put him in my queue about 5 rounds before I took him. Not trying to take him 5 rounds, but I wanted to make sure I was watching how he was, like how the position was rolling, because I wanted to make sure I took him around earlier than I probably could have, just in case, because I knew my situation at quarterback. I don't love the idea of Bryce Young as my second quarterback. We'll see, but I just knew that it was going to be a Mac Jones or a Sam Howell or a Ryan Tannehill or Jimmy Garoppolo situation. I'd rather have Mac Jones out of all those guys.
Yep. And like I said, Chuck, to be honest, you and Justin were right. I can't really I can't really argue against that. I was like, well, like
the
Justin
Georgia game.
No, fuck that. That's wrong. But
double bird.
No, but definitely like Chuck's point of like where he's going ahead of, especially in Dynasty right now. Why would you draft Derek Carr ahead of like Mac Jones? Because like let's say that Chuck is right. Mac Jones is at least has room to be a backup for a long time, and like I don't know, like have some roster ability. Derek Carr is in the twilight. Like you guys know that he's old as hell now at this point, so it doesn't really make sense. We'll do a quick roundtable on one more, and then we'll end the show there because we're out of time. I'm just curious of what you guys are doing with Jerry Jeudy. He's a guy I have zero rostership of. I would want some, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what to throw out or pay for him. Is he a guy that you want? Do you believe in the Broncos? Do you believe not him as like a wide receiver because I think he's a good player, but him as a Broncos player. Where are you at with him? Chuck, since we ended with you last one, we'll start with you. We'll do the third round reversal or the turn. We'll go with you.
This one's really easy because he's like a fence player, right? Where like there's nobody who's like, ooh, I'm wondering how he's gonna do this year. It's like you either made your mind up on him and he's gonna be great, and this is the Chris Godwin 2019 breakout year, or you're like, look, I know who this dude is, and I don't need to see any more out of him. I let him do his thing, let him fizzle out. And I think we're going to see right now. I don't think there's any excuse for a single player on this offense, and I mean a single player. Russ, Judy, Sutton, Tim Patrick, Javonte Williams, maybe, but not so much to me, to be honest. Greg Dulcich. There's no reason this team shouldn't gel from the get-go. And it's with these wide receivers, it usually doesn't take this long. You know, like we know who Terry McLaurin is now. I don't think they can bring in a quarterback that's going to change what Terry McLaurin could be. DJ Moore. I want to see what DJ Moore is going to be. If he hadn't been thrusted into a situation, I'd be saying the same thing about him, if we're being honest. Like, I'm done. I don't want the stress anymore. It's killing me. And I'm already drinking myself into oblivion. I don't need this.
So the answer for you, I was going to ask DJ Moore or Judy, because they're about the same range right now. You'd pick DJ Moore?
They are.
Noted. Andrew.
To answer that question, I also picked DJ Moore. My biggest issue with Jerry Jeudy right now is not that I don't like his situation or him as a player. I like his value a lot when it comes to Dynasty, but in redraft, he's just going too early for me. He just went 7th round in my Scott Fish league, but which might not sound crazy, but what I have an issue with there is that he went ahead of Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Mike Williams. I'm going to take all those guys over Jerry Jeudy just because we don't like. They feel like maybe not Mike Williams, but the rest of those guys feel more secure in their situations than we know what's going to go on in Denver. So I like Jerry Jeudy as a long-term play, but I feel like his ceiling is high on the short term, but unfortunately his floor is too low for me to be taking him at his current ADP.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like Marvin Mims really muddied that situation for me. Like, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
If they didn't draft Marvin Mims, I would be wheels up. But that's just like one more thing. And then this Tim Patrick, I don't get the Tim Patrick love whatsoever. I don't get
those
it.
3 great games.
He's a vibes guy. Tim Patrick is the all-time vibes guy. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. But like I'm pretty off Jerry Jeudy. It's DJ Moore hardcore for me. We'll let you finish this off, Justin. Your thoughts on Jeudy? Is he a guy that you like? Are you rostering him? Would you trade for him?
DJ Moore hardcore all the way. I actually would trade for Jerry Jeudy, but if you were asking me Jerry Jeudy or DJ Moore, I'm gonna take DJ Moore.
All right, I changed my mind. Judy.
He just wants to be different now.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Judy's got 2 years left till he can hit free agency. If he pops this year, contract extension. Sean Payton, #1 target for 4 years.
Hey Chuck, you didn't even say skip.
Yeah, you had your turn. Let Jesus
talk. I was given Undisputed a
Mm.
memoriam.
All right, I'm going to close it out with this. Go ahead and draft DJ Moore before Jerry Jeudy. If you're drafting Jerry Jeudy before DJ Moore, you're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Noted. Yeah, this is Jerry Jeudy is a desperation play. Like, if you get sniped and you miss out, you're like, okay,
It is.
I got Jerry Jeudy now. But like, he's not a guy that I'm like going afterwards. And so we'll end it right there, folks. That ends episode 13. We'll see you next week. We're going to talk NFL offensive trends. We're going to talk more details and release our lineup of the Dynasty Cup. So you need to be following us on Twitter. You need to make sure that you hit subscribe on all the shit, leave us a review, do all the nice stuff. You can tell us your favorite high noon. Hopefully it's not grapefruit, but we'll be here.
Mango.
My name's Jagger. We can catch you at Fantasy. You catch me at Fantasy Blue Chip. You can catch Chuck Bass at Chuck Bass FF, and then we have Fantasy Jesus at Simtex Mex 93 and Andrew Leduc at Real Mr. Mallard. We'll see you next time, folks.